Welcome to Insta Owl's classes. We at Insta Owl believe in democratizing education for one and for all. Welcome students. Let's continue studying federalism in India. Now, let's see the Panchayati Raj, that is rural local government. Structure: Panchayati Raj is the system of rural local government. Each village or a group of villages has a Gram Panchayat. Gram in Hindi means village. That is why it is said Gram Panchayat. Composition of the Gram Panchayat. The Gram Panchayat includes, firstly, all the members of the ward. Like I have been telling you, that if this is your village, it will be distributed in different wards. And then the people inside these will be the members or the population, and every person from the ward will be a panch. And there will be only one president of these, who is known as the sarpanch. They are directly elected by adult residents of the ward, that is plus 18 residents of that ward. They will elect them. Decision-making authority. The Gram Panchayat is the main decision-making body for the village. Role of the Gram Sabha. Now, the Gram Sabha are the people in the village, are the voters or the adults in the village. The Panchayat operates under the supervision of the Gram Sabha, which includes all village voters. The Gram Sabha must meet 2 to 3 times a year to approve the annual budget and review the performance of the Gram Panchayat. So, the Gram Panchayat, please understand, Gram Panchayat is like the committee of the Panch and the Sarpanch, and the Gram Sabha are all the village voters. Now, let's see the local government structure in the rural areas. After this, after the Gram Sabha and Gram Panchayat, we have Panchayat Samiti or block level mandal. Now, multiple Gram Panchayats are grouped together to form a Panchayat Samiti. Samiti means council or block, also called as block or mandal. So, you've seen that you have the Gram Sabha who elects the Gram Panchayat. Such a Gram Panchayat, more than 2 to 3 Gram Panchayats come together to form a Samiti. This is at which level? This is at block level. Members of the Panchayat Samiti are elected by the Gram Panchayat members in the area. Means what? Whoever is sitting in the Samiti, these people are also elected by the people of the Gram Panchayat. The 2 to 3 Gram Panchayats or more than that which form the Samiti, they form it by elections. Above this, above block level, you have Zilla Parishad. Zilla means district. All Panchayat Samitis, mandals in a district combine to form the Zilla, that is the district Parishad. Most members of the Zilla Parishad are elected members. Additional members of the Lok Sabha and MLAs from the district, along with some officials from district level bodies, are also part of the Zilla Parishad. Please remember that the ZP is at top. Then comes block level Samiti, that is your Panchayat Samiti. And then comes your Gram Panchayat. Leadership. The Zilla Parishad chairperson serves as the political head of the Zilla Parishad. So, this is also a part of vertical power sharing, where the power is shared inside the local government, that is Panchayati Raj. Now, let's come to the urban areas. We are going to see municipalities. Municipalities were established in towns for governance, controlled by elected bodies of people's representatives, responsible for urban administration and services. Municipal corporations formed in large cities for urban governance. So now remember, if there is a larger city, larger means geographically or by population, then you have municipal corporations. They are controlled by elected representatives, the same way like elections happen in the Gram Panchayat, and they oversee city level administration and public services. Who's the leader? The municipal chairperson is the political head of a municipality. In a municipal corporation, the political head is the mayor. So like I told you, in this level, the head is of the municipality. But in a larger urban area, in a larger city where we have municipal corporations, the head is the mayor. Let's see Instabytes.
What is participative democracy in Brazil? Yes, we will see a case study of Porto Alegre in Brazil. Is a case study. It is used to study how the people also are a part of the budget making, are a part of the decision making inside that town.
It was a unique system combining decentralization with participative democracy. It allows residents to help decide the city's budget. Around 20,000 people participate annually in meetings to ensure fair distribution of resources, benefiting both rich areas and poor areas. So in this case study, they made such a decision-making process simplification that now people can suggest where should the buses go. Should they go to slum areas, poor areas, rich areas? Where should water lines go? Where should electricity lines go? This is how these people have helped in making decisions for the public. Participative democracy in Brazil. This approach prevents biased spending, protects the rights of poorer communities. A similar experiment has been implemented in parts of Kerala, India, involving local citizens in development planning. Let's see local government, largest democratic experiment we can see in India. Scale of the system. The new local government system in India is the largest democratic experiment in the world. There are approximately 36 lakh elected representatives in panchayats and municipalities across the country. Impact on democracy. This system has deepened democracy and increased women's representation and voice in governance. So this has actually put its roots of democracy in the villages, in the far-off communities, even in tribal areas. And this has a very deepened democracy impact on all the people. So they feel a part of this government. What are the challenges though? The Gram Sabhas are not held regularly despite regular enthusiastic elections. Most state governments have not transferred significant powers or resources to local governments. So these are the two problems or the challenges faced in this system. Progress towards self-government. While the system is a step forward, India is still far from achieving the ideal of true self-government.
Now, let's revise what we have studied in this chapter. We have understood the concept of federalism. We have also seen the essential characteristics of federalism, that is the two-tier governments that you have seen in the world. You have seen USA, you have also seen Australia, you have seen India. We've seen the formation of linguistic states, that is the Reorganization Act of 1956, where you can see that the states have been reorganized based on the languages spoken in the state. Then you have seen decentralization in India. Decentralization means removing the power from the union and giving it to the states and the local government. And then you have seen the structure. In the villages, you have the Gram Panchayat. In the cities, you have the municipalities. I hope, students, you have enjoyed studying federalism with me. Please keep watching InstaAL's videos on such information related to democratic politics. I will see you all in InstaAL's next video on another interesting topic. Please keep watching us. Thank you.